Well, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. How are you doing this morning? As you can see from my thumbnail, I'm going to be doing a little bit of things here in the kitchen this morning, so I thought, well, I'll just bring you along. And I'm going to be making some homemade butter, and then I'm going to be making some blueberry muffins, some baked beans, some chicken, and then I'm going to be making some potatoes in the crock pot. So get yourself a drink, a warm drink, cold drink, and let's get started. I do have my foot in the ankle wrap. I'm not wearing my big boot, and I'm just trying to do things that I know I can get everything started, get it in the oven, and it will make it easy for me to have a nice dinner. And again, it's still a good, healthy meal for myself and my husband. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hands washed, and I'll get started. So welcome if you're just coming in. Good morning. And yes, I will be in frame and out of frame because I'm trying to just move as little as possible right now because I'm still injured. So I'm making do, and hopefully it won't be too much in frame, out of frame, and I won't have to move around and shift too much. Okay, so I went ahead and washed. I had gotten these potatoes. I did a Kroger order, and they brought my Kroger order and dropped it off. And there was a lot of smaller potatoes, so I went ahead and washed a bunch of these off. And all I'm going to do with these is now that they've been washed and they've dried, I'm going to go ahead and just coat them with oil and some salt, and I'm just going to put them in this crock pot, which I have over here. And I'm just going to turn it on high, and I'm just going to let them cook. Probably check them around 3 hours, because what I want to do with these, since they're smaller potatoes, is I'm going to turn these into some home fries. I like the little chunks of home fries with the peeling on it. So since I'm filling up my freezer and I have all these small potatoes, I thought that's something I can do with that. Put it in the freezer and then continue to build up my freezer meals. So, and then if there's any bigger ones with dinner, since it's just myself and my husband, we may have one of the bigger ones as a baked potato for dinner. So I thought, well, since I'm going to have potatoes that may need butter, and I'm going to be making muffins, and they're not going to be homemade muffins. I'm still rotating through my pantry, and I did have 2 boxes of the simple morning premium muffin mix. And this is the blueberry with the crumble topping, and my husband absolutely loves these, so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and put those in the oven and get them going, and that way, if anytime we want to just come in and grab one, they're kind of like a dessert because they've got the nice crumble on top. And my husband still has pineapple upside down cake. So, sorry, let me get a drink of my coffee. So I did go ahead and get a couple of my muffin pans, and these are just the soft muffin pans, and I went ahead and put them on a lined cookie sheet lined with some aluminum foil, just so they'll hold better and keep their shape. So I did get that ready. All I'll have to do now is spray those. And then my baked beans, I'm going to go ahead and get those ready. The other day, whenever I had my last live, I had started in the crock pot, a crock pot of Great Northern beans, and I just let them cook to the texture that I wanted to make homemade baked beans. And I went ahead and ran them through the oven I added some seasonings to them to get them ready for baked beans. So what I'm going to do today is I do have a large container. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add those into my large bowl. And then I'm going to add some more seasonings to them and then put them in to bake with my chicken. Oh, yummy. I've just seen the mouse running across your counter. I don't think so. I don't have any mice in my house. I have one kitty, and trust me, if there was a mouse in the house, he would find it. So anyway, I have my crock pot set out, got it ready to put my potatoes in. And I have my baked beans that I'm going to get prepared. And whenever I make the homemade batter, I'm going to be using the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro. And I've used this before on a live stream. What a graceful lady. Oh, well, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and make some homemade batter. And I absolutely like this little kit. And it comes with everything that you need to make your own batter. And if you're a small family like myself and my husband, there's only 2 of us, so I can make small batches of butter. And I'm going to have blueberry muffins, and I'm going to have potatoes coming out of the crock pot warm. So I thought, well, I'll just make some homemade batter, and that's going to make a really nice meal. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off making the muffins because I'm going to go ahead and get them in the oven. And I do have 2 Maltese puppies, and you may hear them squabbling in the background. They have T-R-E-A-T. Yes, so they may squabble. If they do, I apologize ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on my muffins. Let me turn on the light. And I'll have to shift you around slowly because I am injured, so I'm trying to move as little as possible. And then I'll get you moved to the other side here. And this is just a basic muffin mix. And while I was cleaning out my pantry, I thought, well, I have some extra muffin mix there. I might as well just go ahead and get it used up. And that way I'm continuing to rotate my pantry while I'm at home and I'm injured. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get these muffins mixed up. I might want to go with a bigger bowl just in case. And I need a small strainer because this mix does come with blueberries and they're in a can. It's a nice little kit. You have your muffin mix. You have blueberries that come in a can. And then you have your crumb topping. So I thought, you know, these would be great for breakfast or just to grab for a snack. And I can go ahead and put them in my husband's dessert dish because he did finish off the last brownie. So I've got an empty dessert dish. So that way I'm rotating my pantry and it's still healthy. Well, I've got a frog this morning. I'm sorry. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open these blueberries. And then it says to strain the blueberries and wash them off. So I'm just following the basic recipe. And it says empty the muffin mix into a large bowl, which we're going to. This is, I think, large enough. And we're going to need 2 eggs, some vegetable oil, and some water. So I'll go ahead and get my eggs. So how is everyone on this Sunday morning? I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Okay, some water and some vegetable oil. So there's some water, some vegetable oil, and I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Okay. So let me go ahead and get a can opener. And I'm going to go ahead and get started opening my blueberries. And yes, I'm in frame and then out of frame. I'm going to hold this over my sink because I do not want to make a mess with the blueberry juice. And I'm going to take my strainer over the sink. So I'll just kind of spin you around so you can see where I am. And no, I'm not a professional filmer and I'm not a professional chef. I just enjoy cooking and baking. And my daughter really likes that I'm putting some recipes on my channel. That way, if she wants to make one of the things I'm making, one of the meals, she can just get on here and follow along, and it's just like she's in the kitchen with her mama. Okay, I'm putting them in the strainer, and then I'm just going to rinse them. So we're going to go ahead and rinse them and let them strain while I'm mixing up my blueberry mix. So I'm just going to let them sit there and strain. Okay, bring you back over this way. And hopefully you can see that okay. And I'm going to get me a spoon. Well, I feel like it's Monday and not Sunday. When you're injured, you just are not yourself, but you still have to get some things done. So I'm still baking, still cooking, and still getting it done. Maybe a little more clumsy than normal, but I'm getting it done. Okay, I added my muffin mix to the bowl. Stir in water, eggs, and oil. So I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs, 2 eggs. I'm just following the instructions on the box. And then I need 2/3 cup of water. So please be patient with me. I am a little injured, but hey, I'm still getting things done. Okay, so 2/3 cup of water. And then 1/3 cup of oil. I like these little boxes of muffin mix. They come in handy. And I thought, well, I'm cleaning out my pantry and rotating my stock. And as I'm finding things that I've had in there for a little while, I'm going ahead and rotating them. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and grease my muffin pans with some Pam. So I'm going to take this over the sink so I don't make a mess on my floor. And I just have the soft muffin pans, and I have 2 pans, 6 muffins. So I just went ahead and sprayed those. And I'm just going to wipe any excess right off of the center. Just to make it a little easier for cleanup. My husband loves anything blueberry. And I have some frozen blueberries that I've dehydrated, and I've got some more frozen blueberries I have not dehydrated. And I started to make some blueberry muffins with some of the ones that we raised from our own blueberry bushes. And then I found these muffins. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and just use these up. Okay, so it says, stir eggs, water, and oil into muffin mix. And then mix until moistened. It says about 50 strokes. Batter will be slightly lumpy. So I'm going to go ahead and get these mixed up. I like blueberry muffins any time of the day. I can use them for breakfast or for a snack, for a dessert. And if I have extra made, I can always put them in the freezer and then just bring out the ones that I have baked and frozen and just let them thaw, and I will have the extra muffins. Okay, so that says it's going to be a little lumpy. So I'm to the point where it's just a little lumpy. So I'm going to stop there. Now it says rinse and drain the blueberries. And you want to fold them into your mix. So I have my blueberries. And now I'm just going to kind of fold them into my mix. Because I don't want to overdo it and have all that blueberry color clear through my muffins. So I'm just folding it gently. And I think that's going to be just fine. Mixed quite well. And then it says spoon batter into prepared muffins about 2/3 full. So I've got my muffin pans ready. And I'm just going to start spooning in my muffin mix. And I do have a Walmart order that's supposed to come, so if they do deliver, the puppies may bark if they hear them delivering. It's kind of nice to have things like this that I already had in the pantry. Now that I'm injured, I can still go in and find things that I've had in my pantry and still have a nice healthy meal for myself, for my husband. Just going to try and go through and get it in all 12, and then I'll go back through and split up what's left over. And yes, my puppies are playing in the background. I apologize. They're just puppies being puppies. Hey, babies. Babies. What you doing? What you doing? I have a 6-month-old and a 12-month-old Maltese puppy. So they are playing in the background. So if you hear them, I do apologize. They're just puppies being puppies. They get too rambunctious, I'll stop and give them another T-R-E-A-T. I spell it because they know what it is. And that worked out perfect. My oven has preheated. And I'm just going to try and add the rest of this mixture in there and try and get them all pretty close to even. That looks pretty close. Maybe I can get just a little bit more out of there. I don't like to waste. So, just add that to that. Babies, what you doing? What you doing, loves? And now I'm just going to take my damp rag and just wipe off anything that I have extra. Hey, hey, babies, babies. What you doing? What are you playing? Don't be rough now. That'll just get anything off the edges there of my pans. They are so enjoying each other. I'm letting them grow up together and have a playmate. Okay. So I have my muffin pans filled, and I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. And it's to bake at 400. I'm baking at 350. It depends on your oven. My oven tends to bake a little warm, so I'm putting it on 350. And it says 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set it for about 8 minutes. And then I'll go back and check that. Okay, so the only thing I've got left, oops, I didn't put my crumb on top. I almost forgot my crumb. Oh, goodness. That would not have been good. Let me get my crumb on top. I'm just going to scatter this on the top. I'm just not my normal self. Now that I'm hurt, I just do not feel like my normal self. That foot and leg is doing better. I don't have the big boot on, the big air boot. I've got a wrap on that ankle, and I'm just trying to move as little as possible and shift from foot to foot. Try and keep as much weight off of that as I can. But it is healing quite nice. Just going to try and cover all of them with a crumble on top. And then we'll put them back in the oven. And then I won't have to reset my timer. There we go. Now, take two. We will put this in the oven. Set the timer for 8 minutes. Okay. So maybe I got everything in it this time. We'll see. Okay, so now I've got the muffins in the oven. And I'm just trying to pace myself and do a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead next and get my potatoes, and I'm moving you this away so it's easier for me so I'm not shifting so much on that foot. I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on my potatoes, and then I'm going to get them in the crock pot. Okay. Get these over this way again. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I've got some olive oil in my sprayer. So I'm just going to kind of mist them, put them in and mist them. That way I don't make too big of a mess. And I'm just covering each potato really well with olive oil. And I'm just going to put these in my crock pot, and then I'll set it on high. And I want to let these just sit in the crock pot and cook for about 3 to 4 hours, because I'm going to turn these into home fries. We may have a baked potato out of it, one of the larger ones, but I got a Kroger order delivered, and there were so many small potatoes. So I'm just trying to find different ways to use the small potatoes. And I love the hash browns with the skin. I have them with breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're good with any meal. And I'm going to go ahead and turn these into not hash browns, home fries. So I like them cubed with the skin. And then I'll go ahead and put them in the freezer, in freezer bags, Ziploc freezer bags. And whenever I want to have home fries, I can just go in and get a bag out of the freezer and let it thaw. And I have prepared ahead of time And I've used up these small potatoes. And that way, I'm trying to think ahead and to make things just a little bit easier for me while I'm injured and healing. I'll wash these potatoes and then I'll let them dry. I wanted to make sure that the oil stuck to them very good. Let me wash my hands again. And if you're just coming in, that's my puppies you're hearing in the background. They're playing, and the puppies being puppies. And here we just do everything real life. We don't try to edit things and make them better than what they are. They just are what they are. It's real life. Okay. Babies, you're getting a little rough. Easy. Easy. And I'm going to let some water run in my muffin mix bowl. So now that's 2 things I can check off of my list. I want to wipe any extra oil off. And I just have the potatoes, and as you can see, they're coated very well in olive oil. I like doing potatoes like this if I have some small ones, or even if I want to do just baked potatoes. I'll do them sometimes like this in the crock pot, and then I'm not heating up my stove with my oven. So now all I'm adding is some sea salt. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle some sea salt on them. And then I'm going to put these in the oven, or in the crock pot. And I'm going to put them in on high for at least 3 to 4 hours. I'll check them around 2.5, 3 hours. And see what they look like at that point. So now I've got my potatoes going. So I'm slowly making it through this. Again, I'm trying to move just as little as possible because of my injury to my foot and leg. So I'll be in frame and then out of frame, but it will be just fine. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I want baked beans with my chicken. And I went ahead and started baked beans the other day on my last lot. I put some Great Northern beans in my crock pot, and I put them on high. All I added to them was water, some raw bacon. I kind of chunked it up. Hey, babies, easy, easy. No, 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 no. Ryder, you want a treat? You want a treat? Okay, babies are wanting a treat. You all need a treat. So as you can see, oops, yes, and I'm trying to balance on my bad leg. You give me just 1 minute, I'll go get them a treat. And here's Miss Lily. So I have two babies. And let me give them a treat and see if they will calm down just a little bit. Let me get you a treat. Yes. Let me be good boys and girls. go ahead and turn the timer back on. And I'm just going to let those bake. They're still not ready, so I'm going to continue to let them bake. Wash my hands again because I was getting puppy treats. They have been so rambunctious the last week and a half. I don't know. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, I don't even know where I was at. When I was saying I put some, Great Northern beans in the crock pot my last live. I added some water and bacon, and I just kind of chunked the bacon up a little bit just to add a flavor to my beans, salt and pepper. And I let them cook to the texture that I wanted because I was going to turn it into baked beans. So once they cooked and I drained them and cooled them, I did go ahead and run them through the oven, but I didn't add all of the seasoning that I wanted to add. So I'm going to go ahead and take these and I'm going to add it to this large bowl. And I'm going to add a little bit more flavor to my baked beans. And I'm going to make one baking dish of baked beans with dinner today. And then whatever is extra that doesn't fit in my baking dish today, I'm going to divide and put into some containers and put them in the freezer, and they'll be in there for other meals, for my freezer meals. Because I try to do things in advance. So as you can see, that's a very large bowl of baked beans. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of mustard, a little bit of ketchup, and I apologize, I'm in frame and out of frame. Hey babies, easy, easy. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of brown sugar. Because I didn't want to over flavor these because I knew I was going to be putting them back in the oven and I was going to continue to let them bake. And I thought since I'm having chicken today, these baked beans will go great with my chicken. So I'm going to add some ketchup. Now these baked beans have onions in them, and I added some more bacon, and then I had ketchup, mustard, which I'm putting it back in again, and brown sugar. So I'm just adding a little bit more of the same seasoning that I have in there. Babies, hey. Ryder, no. No, baby. No, baby. No, baby. Good boy, lay down. Good boy, lay down. Come in here with Mama. Come on. Come in here with Mommy and lay down. Take a nappy now. So I'm just going to mix this up really good. Stir it. I don't want to over stir it because I don't want my beans to be over stirred and turn to mush. So I'm just mixing that extra through there. And I'm going to get these ready to go into the oven while I'm waiting for my muffins to get done, I'll go ahead and get my chicken ready. And I had some drumsticks and I had some chicken breast. So it's only myself and my husband. And I thought, well, I'll just do the 4 chicken drumsticks and the 2 chicken breasts, and I'll just put them in the oven and let them bake. That way it's an easy meal for me. I'm not overstressing my leg. So basically all I did was add some more of the same seasonings that I had, which was ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar. And now I'm going to put some of these in a baking dish. And I just have a glass baking dish. I'm going to spray it with some Pam over the sink. So everything doesn't stick to the bottom of my pan and the sides of my pan. And I'm just going to wipe off any excess spray. Now I'm going to add some baked beans into my baking dish. Ryder, no. No. Hey. Come here, bud. Hold on just 1 second. Ryder, okay. No. Okay, lay down. Lie down. Good. Come in here with Mama. Come on. Come in here with Mama. Lay down, be good boy. They were getting just a little bit rough. Okay, good boy lays down. Hopefully now they will lay down and take a nap. They've been up since about 5 o'clock this morning, so they're probably ready for their nappy nap. So what I'm going to do is just add some of these baked beans into my baking dish. And this will be our dinner this evening. And then I'm going to have extra baked beans that I'm going to divide up into a couple freezer containers. And then those will be another meal because it's only myself and my husband. So I always make extra. And then I can have extra meals. So I'm going to go ahead and bring over a couple of containers. And I'm going to go ahead and fill up these containers because I made a very large batch of baked beans. As you can see. And that's why I made such a large batch. And right now, with me being injured, if I want to fix dinner, I can go in. I've been making some freezer meals. And I can just take out a freezer meal. It takes less time for me to be up and on my injured foot and leg. And with it's only myself and my husband, I'm not wasting and trying to figure out, what can I make for 2 people that's not going to be too much. And I've always made large meals because I was raised in a large family. And then, of course, once I left home, I had to adjust to a small family. And now it's just my husband and myself. So, over time, I've just adjusted. And whatever was left over, I've done exactly what I'm doing here. I know that this has already been cooked in the crock pot, the beans. They've already been baked. And now, I'm going to put them in a container and put them in the freezer. Okay, let me check my muffins. Okay, I'm going to give them about another, say, 4 minutes. Because I do have my pan lined with aluminum foil. Because my oven does tend to bake warm. It's a new oven. And now that we're remodeling the kitchen and I'm adjusting to the new oven, I just made sure I have a little bit of bacon in each one of these containers. And this will be plenty of baked beans for us tonight for dinner. And I will have 2 meals put in the freezer of baked beans. And I know that they're going to be nice and healthy. I made them myself. I know what's in them. And I'm trying to be more mindful about our meals. My husband has some health problems, and we're adjusting according to his health needs. So I've always done a lot of my cooking from scratch, but I'm trying to do even more, like making the homemade butter. And I did get a grain mill, and I'm making my own all-purpose flour, flour for baking. So that is going to give me quite a lot of baked beans for myself and my husband for dinner. It's going to give me a very nice large bowl of baked beans. And then I'm going to have 2 very nice large servings, which will be enough for 2. So that will give me 3 meals out of preparing one time. And I'll put these in the freezer for another day. So, just saving myself a little bit of time. And since these have already been baked, I will cover these with aluminum foil. And then I'll set them on a cookie sheet whenever I put that in the oven to bake. So I'm slowly working down through my little list for today. I've got my blueberry muffins in the oven. I've got my baked beans ready to go in the oven. I have my 2 that I can put in the freezer for freezer meals. So now I'm going to set this off to the side. See if I can't get some water in my bowls. Just makes it a little easier to clean up. My muffins. I still think they could brown just a little bit more. They smell delicious. I always try to follow the recipe on the box, but my oven may not bake at the temperature that the oven would bake at on the recipe. And it also said to bake it at 400, and I'm baking mine at 350, so it's taking mine just a little bit longer. Go ahead and wipe this space and move these few things out of my way. And I'm just moving right along here this morning. I'm trying to only be up about an hour and a half on this foot and leg because it's injured and I don't want to put too much stress on it. So I'm going to go ahead and set these off to the side. And now the only thing I need to do is my chicken. And I have 2 chicken breasts and 4 chicken drumsticks. And I'm just going to wash my chicken. I'm trying to move a few things around here to get me just a little bit more room. And then I'm going to go ahead and wash off the chicken. Trying to give myself a little bit of room to work. So how are you this Sunday? What are you doing this Sunday? Is this Labor Day weekend? I do believe it is Labor Day weekend. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wash off my chicken. And I have a baking dish here that is ready. So as I wash off each piece of chicken, I'm going to go ahead and get it over into my baking dish. I'm going to go ahead and spray my baking dish. Get it ready for my chicken. And I'm just doing a basic chicken. Keeping my eye on that. I'm going to go ahead and wash this chicken, get it in this pan, then I can get my hands clean and be ready to take the muffins out. I'm just going to wash it, and I'm going to towel pat it dry. Giving it a good rinse. And I have 2 chicken breasts and 4 drumsticks. another towel. And this is probably going to be extra chicken because it's only myself and my husband. So if there's anything extra, we'll just use that up for maybe lunch tomorrow. Okay, so I've got 4 chicken drumsticks. And I've got 2 chicken breasts. My pan is sprayed with oil. I've washed and towel dried. Just a quick towel and towel dried my chicken. And now I'm going to coat this chicken. Turn you back around this way. Now I'm just going to coat this chicken with some olive oil. And I'm going to use a garlic and herb seasoning. And this is, I just love this seasoning. It's got such good flavor. I just want to coat it real good. So I've got it coated really good with the garlic and herb seasoning. And I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to leave it uncovered and let it bake for a while and just kind of watch it. And then if I feel that the internal temperature is not warm enough, I can go ahead and add some aluminum foil on just to make sure that my chicken does not get overbaked. So I'm going to leave that one uncovered for now, and I'm going to move that off to the side. And I do believe our muffins are done. And those are a blueberry muffin with a crumb top. Let's see if I can look at the side of one of them. They may need just a little bit longer. I'm going to let them go just a little bit longer. And I'm going to go ahead and move my chicken off to the side. So I'm moving along pretty good this morning. I have my baked beans ready. I have my chicken ready. I have my muffins in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro, and this is what I'll be making my homemade butter with. So let me go ahead and wipe my space here. I'm just trying to do meals that I know is going to be pretty simple and easy. And I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this with some Clorox wipes, since I did have the chicken. And get my space ready to make my butter. And this butter should only take 15 minutes. And it's a pretty simple, easy recipe. I did try out this Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro and made butter on one of my live streams. And that's when I was just trying it out. And the butter turned out absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of my kit. Recipe book. This is a little mat that they give you to set your churn on. And it keeps your churn from sliding on your countertop, which I think is very nice. And I washed everything and put everything back in the package. And then it comes with 2 wooden paddles. And the wooden paddles have ridges on one side and they're smooth on the other, and this is to squeeze your butter and to shape your butter. This is a very nice little kit, and it's not very expensive. And then it comes with your churn. And with it only being myself and my husband, this is a perfect size for us because I really don't want to make large batches of butter. So it's probably about the size of a quart jar, and it has the stainless steel paddle, the stainless steel lid, and then the wooden handles to churn your butter. Okay, so the only thing that I'm going to need today is heavy whipping cream, and you can use any brand that you want to use. I just had some Kroger's heavy whipping cream, and you let it set out and let it get to room temperature. So I've done that. And then you just follow your simple instructions in the butter churn instruction recipe book. Also with this kit, it came with this beautiful crock, and it does say butter. You may not be able to see that very well, but it does say butter. And people call these a butter crock. Some people call them a butter bell, because whenever you take this out, it does look like a bell. And when I make my butter, I'm going to be putting my butter in this bell and then setting it in this crock. And then I can just set this right on my counter on my island, and I'll have fresh homemade butter. and it will last at least, last one I made, it was out for at least 7 days, which we had it used up before the end of 7 days. And it has a very good taste. It's so soft, and it's just absolutely delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through the simple ingredients. It says 1 10-ounce of heavy whipping cream or double cream. Now this one is 16 fluid ounces, so it's 300 milliliters or 10 ounces. And I do have a measuring cup, and I'm going to follow the milliliters. So I'll be using 300 milliliters of heavy whipping cream at room temperature. So let me go ahead and get that open. And this only takes 15 minutes. And when it said that before, I was quite surprised when it said 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. Just going to shake up my heavy cream a little bit, whipping cream. And I'm going to measure out 300 milliliters or 10 ounces. And I went over, so I'm going to spoon some of that back in. See what I've got now. Okay, now I have 300 milliliters of heavy whipped cream. And I'm just going to add that to my jar. Piece of my paper went in there. I spent a little piece of my paper on the jar. Okay, got my whipping cream in there. And I'm just going to put the lid on. And I don't want to put it on too tight because I have such a hard time with my hands. I had to have some major surgery done when I was 20, and it done a lot of damage to the muscles and nerves in my hands and arms. Okay, so I've got that in there. Now all I need to do is just spin this for 15 minutes. So let me go ahead and check my muffins. I'm going to bring out my muffins. I'm going to put my chicken in and my baked beans in. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and just start churning my butter. And it says 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and set a timer. And this is very simple, very easy. It's not an expensive kit. Of course, if you have a larger family, this may not be the one that you would want because it is only making that bell full. This recipe will fill that bell in my butter crock. No, babies. That may be my Walmart order. I apologize. And they may hear this different noise because they're puppies. No, Ryder. No, baby. Come here. Come here, baby. And this is not hard if you have 15 minutes and you just want to sit down and do this, which right now with me being injured, I could have just went in and sat down. No. Come here. No. Here, what's Mommy got? Let me see if I can give him a noodle. You want a noodle? You want a noodle? They absolutely love noodles. Okay. Now you can add salt to your butter if you want to. I did add salt the last time and made it salted butter. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of salt. Not much. Because whenever I buy butter, I do like the salted butter. So I'm just going to put like 2 little pinches. And it's just regular table salt. If you don't want the salted butter, you don't have to add the salt. But my husband likes the flavor of the salted butter. So, I'm just going to go ahead and add that while I'm doing this. No. That's Mommy, baby. That's Mommy. It's this sound I think they hear. I apologize. And in no time, you'll see it start to separate. And you will see your butter begin to form. And I know this is healthy. I know what ingredients are in it. All I have in here is some whipped cream, heavy whipping cream, a little bit of salt, and 15 minutes to churn my butter into homemade butter. And this is the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro. And it comes as a kit. You get your churning you get your churner, you get 2 wooden paddles to shake your butter and squeeze the water out of your butter and milk out of your butter. And then you get the little mat that this jar is sitting on. And it's just a little rubber mat to keep you for your churn from sliding. And then you get your butter crock or butter bell, whichever you prefer to call it. And I'm already starting to see butter. Can you see that yellow butter that's already starting in there? So I'm already getting butter started. And it hasn't even been a full 15 minutes. This is so quick and easy. It's healthy. And it's starting to turn a little bit harder. But I'm going to go ahead and do the whole 15 minutes. If I had not been on my live stream today, I would have just went in and sat down and churned my butter. And that's saying 9 minutes. See how fast and easy that was. It's not even going to take the 15 minutes. You can see more butter. I'm hoping you can see that. There's more butter forming in my jar. Look at that butter. It's quick, it's easy, it's healthy, and I really enjoy making healthy food for myself and for my husband. And this is the homemade butter. And I'm just following the steps. It's very important that you do let your whipping cream become room temperature. So if you have it frozen, like I normally keep some frozen, and I'll just put it in my refrigerator overnight to thaw, and then when I know I'm going to make butter, I just set it out and let it become room temperature that day. And when it's room temperature, after 15 minutes, I can just come in and make my own homemade butter. And that is really starting to get a lot harder to churn. It's really working out nice. I'm going to go ahead and take off some of that liquid. I may have a smaller jar in here. Let me see. I'll just go ahead and use this one. I'm just going to pour off some of that liquid. So you can see how much butter I'm getting. And this is just, it now skim milk. So I'm going to pour off some of that liquid. You don't have to do that. You can wait to the end. But you can see how much milk has separated from the butter. And I think I'm probably going to be close enough on my butter. It's very pretty. I'm hoping you can see that. It's yellow. But I want to go ahead and continue to whip it up. And get a spatula. And I'm just going to see if I can't get it all in there together. This is so pretty. It has such a pretty yellow color. It smells delicious. It tastes delicious. And it's homemade butter that you've made yourself. It's making quite a bit of butter. It should be enough to fill my crock, my little butter bell that came with the kit, my butter crock. I'm going to go ahead and get me a bowl with some water. And I'm going to add some ice. Alright, made a little bit of noise there. I'm just going to put some ice in there. Cool that water down a little bit. You can just use cool water if you have cold tap water. You don't have to add the ice. And that way that water will be cooling off, and then I'm going to be moving my butter over to my ice water. Let's see where I'm at. I don't think I'm going to need too much longer at all. And I hope you can see that pretty butter inside there. All that butter that has separated from the milk, from the whipping cream. Now, if I had not have stopped, I would have been doing this for a full 15 minutes. But I've used this kit enough to know how I feel comfortable using it, but I do follow the instructions. It says turn the handle and churn for approximately 15 minutes. Watch as the cream thickens and turns into butter. Baking spatula can be used to scrape the semi-firm butter and to recenter it in the jar, which is what you see me doing. The leftover milk is perfect for making fresh pancakes. So right now I haven't separated my milk from my buttermilk completely. I did separate some, and that's how much I have now. So down to about 30 seconds, and we have butter. So if you have 15 minutes, 10 ounces of heavy whipping cream, you can make your own homemade butter. So now I'm going to go ahead and separate my milk from my butter. Keep that where you can see it. Now all I have left in my container is beautiful homemade butter. And this is a very soft butter. It's a very delicious butter. So I'm going to kind of move it to the side here a little bit, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and drain some more of the milk. And I have some beautiful butter. Look at all that absolutely beautiful butter. So I'm going to move that butter now to my cold water, my ice water. And I'm going to move these off to the side. Wash my hands. So I've got quite a lot done today on the live stream. I made my blueberry muffins, and they were not homemade, they were from the box. And then this is buttermilk. If you want to make some pancakes or biscuits, I'll put that in the refrigerator and that'll make some delicious pancakes or some biscuits. So now I have that beautiful butter in my cold water. Now I'm going to take the 2 paddles that came with the kit. One side has ridges and one side's flat. This is going to help me to shape my butter, and it's going to help me to squeeze out any extra water or milk. So I'm just now kind of rolling my butter around in the cold water, just rinsing it. And then I'm going to shape my butter. And I will be using these paddles with the ridges on the inside. And I'm just going to be squeezing any extra water or milk out of my butter. And I'll just keep adding it back up onto my wooden paddle and just kind of shaping as I go. This is very simple, very easy. It's a nice little kit. Again, if you have a large family, this may not be the kit that would be suitable for you because it is a small amount of butter. It's plenty for myself and my husband. I absolutely love the size of the kit. It's easy for me to wash everything and store it in the box. Oops, and there I dropped one. So that does make some beautiful, beautiful butter. And I'll just continue to squeeze until I have as much water and milk as I can get out of my butter. And it also comes with a cheesecloth if you want to also wet your cheesecloth, because you don't want to put your butter on a real dry cheesecloth, but you can squeeze out any extra water that way if you want to, or milk. So I've done this enough that I pretty well know when I'm not seeing anything running or dripping, I know that it's right about where I'm wanting it. So now I'm just going to add all this beautiful butter into my little crock that came with my kit, or bell, butter bell, whichever you would like to call it. Some people call it a butter crock, some people call it a butter bell. So it's whatever you prefer to call it. Okay, so I'm got me a teaspoon. And I'm just now going to begin to take a little bit of the butter, add it to my bowl, and then I'm just going to go around and kind of push it up against the side of my butter bowl, or my butter bell. And what this does is it takes out your air bubbles. And it helps your butter to stay in your butter bell whenever you turn it upside down to store it on your counter. Or in your refrigerator, however you would like to store it. I put mine right on my counter or on my island. And then when we want soft butter, I have soft butter. And this makes just enough for you to fill this bell. So what I keep doing is keep going all the way around and try and get it packed in there as good as I can. Make sure I don't have any air bubbles. Now I'm going to start going around with it. And I'm just going to start packing it down in using my spoon. And that also helps bring out any air bubbles if you have any air bubbles down in there. And this is absolutely delicious butter. And as you can see, it is beautiful, beautiful butter. It's got a pretty yellow color. It's got an amazing taste. Only thing I've added was a little bit of salt and my whipping cream, and 15 minutes to go around and to churn my butter. So now I'm just making sure I got everything packed down in there really good. And I'm going to take off any excess there around the top. Look how pretty that butter is. Absolutely beautiful. add that onto my wooden block because I'm going to be putting that on one of my muffins. Just taking my spoon and I'm just kind of smoothing everything down. Now I'm just going to wipe off all the way around the edge. And just look at that absolutely beautiful butter. So the only thing I'm going to do is in my crock, my butter crock, you probably can't see it, but there's a little bit of a line right here, a little groove. I'm going to add some water up to that line. And whenever I'm turning my butter bell over, I don't want my butter to fall out. So that's why you see me smoothing it up against the sides. Now I'm going to turn my butter bell right upside down in my butter crock. And that water on the bottom will help form a seal. So anytime I want soft butter, homemade butter, I'll just go to my island, get my butter crock, and I have my own homemade butter that I made. And it took me maybe, with all the prep time and putting it together, maybe 18-20 minutes. And that was from start to finish, including the churning. So, anyway, that is my homemade butter, using the kit. And I'm going to go ahead and use this leftover butter on my muffins whenever I get me a muffin here in just a little bit. So I'm going to set that to the side. And that kit, again, is the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro. And it only makes small batches. So if you have a larger family, you may want to double the batch or make more than one batch and then just form it and put it in your own containers. I'm just following the recipe that came with the recipe booklet that came with the kit. And the kit came with the churn, the butter churn, which has stainless steel blades, the stainless steel top, and the glass container. It came with the 2 wooden paddles, which have ridges on one side, smooth on the other, and that's for squeezing the liquid out of your butter and shaping your butter. It came with the orange mat that I use. It's just a rubber mat to set your churn on so it doesn't slide on your work area where you're churning your butter. And then it came with this beautiful butter crock or butter bell. And as you can see, that's been in there for a little while, and it is still shaped, and all I have in it is just a little bit of water up to the line. So, I still have this much buttermilk that I can use to make some delicious pancakes, buttermilk pancakes, or make some biscuits. So, I'll go ahead and put this in the refrigerator, and either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow because we're now into the afternoon, I'll make some buttermilk pancakes or some buttermilk biscuits with my leftover buttermilk. So anyway, I think I pretty well covered everything I wanted to this morning, and my foot and leg is starting to bother me. I'm trying to aim to be up about an hour and a half. So I did get the muffins baked, and they are done. So there's the blueberry muffins. I'm letting them cool. And these are just the box. I did not make these from scratch. And then I brought out my baked beans that I had prepared, and I went ahead and added some more seasonings to them. Put a large baking dish of baked beans in the oven, and then separated 2 more freezer containers so I can put these in my freezer, and I will have 2 more meals for myself and my husband. I've got my chicken in the oven, and I had 2 chicken breasts and 4 drumsticks, and I just washed it. I got a glass baking dish. I sprayed some olive oil on the baking dish, washed the chicken and towel dried it with paper towel. Then I sprayed the chicken with olive oil, and then my only seasoning I put on it was a garlic herb seasoning. Then I got my butter made, and in the crock pot I had done a Kroger order, and they delivered, and I ordered some potatoes, and I had a lot of smaller potatoes. So I thought, well, I'm going to turn those into some home fries. So I washed them, drained them, and then I greased them in olive oil really good, put them in the crock pot, and just sprinkled some salt on them. And I'm just going to let them on high in the crock pot for 3 to 4 hours. And then I may have 1 or 2 for a baked potato this evening with dinner, with our chicken and baked beans. Or I will just then dice them up with the skins on, and I will freeze them and put them in the freezer for some home fries, because I like home fries. My husband likes hash browns occasionally, and he likes to home fry, so I try to do a variety. So that way I'm using up the small potatoes. I used up a bunch of the potatoes that I already had and made a large batch of mashed potatoes, so I do have some extra containers in the freezer. So now I have some mashed potatoes in there, some baked beans in there, and I'm slowly building my freezer stock back up as I'm rotating my freezer. And the same thing with my pantry. I made the box blueberry muffins because I found some blueberry muffin mix in my pantry. So again, I'm rotating my pantry, I'm rotating my freezer, and I'm trying to take it easy on my foot and leg because I am injured. So yes, I've been in frame and out of frame. I did get quite a lot done. I hope that was informative. If you've thought about making your own butter, this is a very nice little kit. Again, it's not a large amount of butter. What I did there was following the recipe, and it was just enough to fill my butter bell and my butter crock. And I like that because it's just myself and my husband. I can make it, put it on the island, set it on my counter, and like here in just a little bit, whenever my blueberry muffins cool, I'm going to add some homemade butter to my blueberry muffins. And when my potatoes are done, I may take one out for a baked potato or a couple out for dinner, and we'll have homemade butter to go on that and some sour cream. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to. Nothing special. Just thought I'd bring you along while I did a few things here this morning. And as always, don't be afraid to try new things in your kitchen. Experiment, enjoy your kitchen, and have fun. And myself and my husband are not getting any younger. I don't know why, but we're just not getting any younger. And as you get older, you do have new little health problems that come up. And my husband has come up with some health problems. So I'm trying to change his diet to where more and more of the things that I make, I'm making from scratch and also homemade, like the butter that I made and churned. And then I did get the grain meal, and I'm now able to turn our wheat berries into, all-purpose flour for breads, for cakes. So I'm trying to be more mindful of his health, which I've always tried to be, but I'm trying to get him to get more adjusted to don't just go to the store and pick up mixes. Let me do it at home. That way I know what I've put in it. I know there's no preservatives in it, and it's more healthy for you. So, but anyway, that's what I'm working on in my kitchen. So I've been getting a lot of different new kitchen appliances, or kitchen uh, tools, as I call them, just to make things a little more healthier for my husband. And like I said, this is only about a quart. It doesn't make a large amount, but if you are a family of two, like myself and my husband, and you want to make homemade butter, and you have 15 minutes, and you have some heavy whipping cream, you can make your own homemade butter using this kit. And again, it is the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro Kit. And it comes with the churn that I just showed you, the 2 wooden paddles to shape and squeeze, to squeeze the fluids out of your butter and to shape your butter. And they come with, one side has ridges, one side is soft, and that way you can shape and squeeze your milk, and whenever you put it in water, squeeze the water out of your butter and shape your butter. And then it comes with the mat that you use to set on your counter or workspace when you're using your churn, so your churn is not slipping. And then it comes with this absolutely beautiful butter crock, and it does say butter. I don't know if you can see that or not. And it is ceramic, and it is an absolutely beautiful little bell. And whenever I want to serve my butter, I just get my crock, take my bell out, and I just set my butter bell right on the counter, and we can come and get our fresh butter right out of our butter bell. So I absolutely love this little kit. If you missed me going through that, or if I went through it too fast, I did do a live stream making homemade butter using the Amish the Amish Chef Turn and Churn Pro. I did one live stream whenever I just got it in and I was trying it out. So that one I might have went a little bit slower. So if I went too fast, I do apologize. But I am injured, and now I'm pushing almost 2 hours. I only want to be up an hour and a half. I need to get off this lagging foot. I do have my wrap on. I'm not wearing my big bulky air boot, but I do have my ankle wrapped, and I'm trying to have meals that I can just come in, prepare, prep it, get it in the oven, and then just go sit down and relax and give my foot a little bit of a break. And right now, the only thing I have in my oven is my baked beans and my chicken. I've got potatoes in the crock pot, and it's just potatoes with the whole peeling on. I did put the olive oil on them after they were washed and drained. I put olive oil on them, put them in the crock pot, and then added a little bit of sea salt. And then just turned them on high for about 4 hours. So anyway, that's all I have today. And then I do have my 2 freezer meals from my baked beans, so I'll be able to take these and put them in my freezer, and that will give myself and my husband 2 more meals. And I'm absolutely grateful, especially whenever I'm injured, or if I'm trying to prep a meal and I'm thinking, what can I fix with that? I just go to my freezer, and I do have some things done ahead of time. And when I got injured and realized that I couldn't be up for long periods of time, I was thanking myself for being mindful and having some meals that I had made extra, like I did with my baked beans, and I just divided it in portions and put it in the freezer, and that made it so much easier on me right now that I'm injured and I'm trying to heal. And so I was very grateful for that. So I've done several lives this past week, cooking and baking, and I'm rotating my freezer stock. I'm putting freezer meals back in because I'm doing large preps. And then I'm also rotating my pantry so that when I do make a have a Kroger's delivery or Walmart delivery, because right now I cannot even go shop because it's my foot and leg, and anytime I have to step outside the home, I have to be in a large air boot up to my knee, and that's my right foot, which I would need to drive for my gas pedal. So I've been just here at home, and I've just been coming on doing some lives and sharing a little bit of home cooking with you. And I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too boring. And so anyway, if you enjoy cooking and baking, don't be afraid to try new things. You know, try a recipe. And then, you know, if you think, well, maybe I should add this, or it'd be better if I didn't have that, make it your own recipe and enjoy your kitchen. You know, have fun. Enjoy your kitchen. But anyway, I'm going to hop off of here, go get my bit of rest, get me a nice warm cup of coffee, and just sit down and relax and let dinner do its baking, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. So until next time, bye-bye everyone. And as always, please be kind. Be kind to one another. We really need to see more of that. We need to see more kindness, love, and understanding. We really do. So till next time, bye-bye everyone. And I'll see you the next time. Thank you for stopping by. And if you like the video, please like my videos if you would like to. And if you want to subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. And I want to thank you all for always being so kind and polite in my live stream chats. You don't know how much I appreciate that. It means the world to me. So till next time, bye-bye everyone. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your holiday weekend. And I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.